going to be recorded as well for later availability. Is there anything to come before the Conservation Commission this evening that's not on the agenda? Hearing none. The first item on the agenda is an abbreviated notice of resource delineation for 6 to 2430 Second Lane. We had a site walk earlier in the week. Billy Vines was there, I was there, Carl was there, and Mark Gibbs was there. We were there with the applicant and his wetland scientist. The purpose of the meeting was to agree on the wetland line on that lot. Are there any comments or questions from the members who were there? I think it was pretty clear cut. It's a very steep swale that goes through the corner of the house that it's going to be torn. It's irrelevant, I guess, but that house is going to be torn down. So, I mean, the wetland delineation I thought was pretty obvious. How about the rest of you? Do you agree?
I agree with you, Dave.
Yep. No issues.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion. Katie, do you have any other comments on this, Anrad?
No.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty straightforward from the beginning. Oh, actually, I do need the revised plan if the applicant's here. Are they in here?
Is there, because I just have the plan that we had at the site. Is there a newer one since then?
Yes. Unmute me.
You're unmuted.
Yeah, this is Patrick Larkin. The plan, I did forward over the revised plan to you, Katie.
How different is it from the one we saw when we did the site walk?
It's the same plan. The only indication you wanted me to put on was a notation of the flood map. So I sent that.
I think Katie, you wanted two notifications put on there, right?
Yeah, I think the 30-foot was not on there, correct?
Yeah.
30-foot, no impervious.
I did send over a revised one. I'll send it over to you again. The revised one, which shows the 30-foot and the flood.
Okay.
Yeah, we have new emails.
Okay.
And a new email domain at Town Hall, so I probably didn't get it. I will email you, and that way you can send it to my new email.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'll send you an email.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the delineation of wetlands through the ANRAD for 6 and 24 to 30 Second Ave. Mark so moves. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Is there any discussion? Are there any comments from the audience on this ANRAD? All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, you got to do roll call.
Yeah. Billy, aye. Mark?
Aye.
Carl?
Aye. Had to unmute.
Okay, John?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Next item on the agenda is a continuance of the notice of intent for 236 to 240 Groton Road for a residential subdivision. We had a site walk there last night. Carl Bischoff was there, Billy Vines was there, I was there, and Mark Gibbs was there with the applicant and their engineer. Is Katie Enright, are you here now tonight?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you want to tell us where you are and what you want? You made a few changes, I guess.
Well, so I wanted to talk to you tonight. Certainly it was important. Again, Katie Enright from Howard Stein Hudson, just to introduce myself on behalf of North Star Realty. So I wanted to get out there last night and talk about the wetlands that we had delineated out there and make sure everybody was comfortable with the delineation because we are looking to go to planning board tomorrow night and move forward with a similar but different plan. And so tonight we would certainly be requesting a continuance of this meeting until we were able to redo some of the engineering and the drainage calculations to go with the new layout. So if I can just share it with you, just so you know what I'm talking about. Katie, I'm going to ask if I can display my screen briefly.
Thank you.
Yep.
Should be able to now.
Yep.
Okay.
So if everybody can see this screen, so a lot of the feedback we heard at the planning board from the abutters and from the planning board itself was the major concern with there being house lots beyond the existing electric easement. So I worked very diligently yesterday afternoon to see if I could get it all to fit on the other side, and I can. So essentially what this does is, previously I had two houses on this side of the easement here with the driveway, and the road came up just a little bit closer to the easement and wrapped around. There were more houses on the north side of the property and less houses on the south side of the property. I've shifted them all around. Still meet zoning with all the requirements for each of these lots here, and have been able to essentially pull everything forward of that easement. So the plan itself has not been re-engineered. These are the ponds that we have on the plan today, which I anticipate will be similar, if not maybe a little bit smaller. This is the drainage area. These are the exact same drainage areas we had on the plan that we had already prepared for you. This drainage area here, the drainage area here that encompasses the small isolated pocket here, and then the small pond out front. So we would like to tonight get a handle on if the commission is comfortable, certainly with the delineation as we've shown, so that we can re-engineer the project and the plan and hopefully appear back before you in a month's time with hopefully some new engineering comments and or things cleared up relative to drainage and the impacts within the buffer zones.
Katie, this is Dave. By removing those two houses that were down near Burton, does that put more water in the lower right-hand detention basin?
No, it does not. So it'll essentially be, it's the same amount of houses and the road is actually a little bit shorter. So it'll actually send less drainage than the previous solution. Also, the driveway was a lot longer for these two homes. So that's actually, this project will be less impervious than previous.
And the drainage, the three drainage sites will be the same size?
I'm hoping to maybe shrink the middle one a little bit, but I don't anticipate being able to do a lot because we are doing the same amount of.
But they're not going to be bigger.
They're not going to be bigger, no. So we have less impervious surface. The road got a little bit shorter, and a couple of certainly the driveway that went out back here got a little bit shorter. I don't anticipate there being a major difference, but I'd like to reform this one a little bit to get it away from unit 7 and 8. It's going to be very, very similar, and the buffer zone impacts are going to be very similar. I just don't have it fully engineered yet, where I just basically relayed this out right before the site walk yesterday.
Katie, I take it we'll wait for another engineering review of this, right? Katie?
Katie, you're
Sorry.
Katie.
Christine Papadopoulos will have to review this again.
Yes.
Okay. Katie, just generally, it had nothing to do with the change in the format. In the event that that lower right-hand detention area overflows, where does the overflow go to?
It goes to the wetland that goes here.
And where's Main Street relative to that?
It's pretty far away. It's actually, I wonder if I can pull it up on, I can pull it up on GIS for you.
That's all right.
It's pretty significantly far away. It goes through, because this area here is all, there's a big portion of this, which is the Mass Electric property. It's actually bigger than the easement. It's their property. And then
that easement goes to their property?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is their property here. And this wetland is pretty extensive over here.
Okay, let me ask the commissioners if they have any questions. Billy Vines?
No, I'm fine, Dave.
Mark Gibbs?
Oh, it appears to be less impervious.
Well, it certainly, I mean, any concern that there was from the residents of having water on the easement that's would have to go away, I would think. That's right.
Right.
Any,
I think it's fine right now.
okay, Carl? Carl?
No, this looks better than what we saw before. I'm good.
John, you probably haven't had a chance to look at any of this, but I'll give you the opportunity to ask any questions if you have any.
Well, I think you guys are doing a great job. You've seen it. I'd like to see it, and then I'd know what I'm looking at, but.
Well, that's all. You could arrange with Katie Enright to go out there at your convenience, I would think.
Well, I mean, you and Mark went out there and stuff.
Billy Vines and Mark and myself and Carl
Right.
Bischoff were out there last night
Right.
with Katie Enright and with the landowner.
And the wetland scientist too.
Yeah, so wetland scientist was there, and the planning board was there as well, but
Mhm.
that's another matter. But if you want to get out there, because we're going to continue this to our next meeting probably. It depends on what the schedules are like. So there'll be time for you to go out there and just set something up with Katie at your convenience. Okay?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. Are there
And
any?
I would think, Dave, we're going to need to continue for not the next meeting, but the first meeting next.
So maybe August 4th?
Correct.
Yeah, we don't normally have meetings in the summer, but since we've been delayed, okay. Are there any questions or comments from the audience on this application?
Dave, this is Mike Walsh, the abutter I met you last night.
Yes?
Thank you very much for you and the committee to come out last night, the commission, to take a look at the areas of our concern. Katie has addressed with this revised plan, all of our concerns are off the table. So we'd like to thank Katie and the owner for hearing our concerns and making the attempt to be great neighbors. So thank you very much, Katie, and thank you to the commission.
This is Beth Logan from 36 Levitt Lane, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to join you guys last night, but I agree with Mike. I like this plan a lot better. I think it looks good.
Is there somebody else in the background? Okay. So Katie, Gurton, do you have any other questions now that you've seen these new plans?
Nope, I like these plans even better than I like the other ones.
So your agent's report from June 17th still applies, and to the extent that they're addressed, that's fine. So we can continue this, but we still will need a engineer's report from Ms. Papadopoulos, correct?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be getting that through the planning board process too.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
Definitely by August 4th.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to continue this until August 4th. Is there such a motion?
Dave, I move we continue till August 4th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Continued to August 4th. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda, and I will read it, is Locke Road. Pursuant to, under the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 187, the Chelmsford Conservation Commission will conduct a remote public meeting on July 7th, 2020 at 7 p.m. for a notice of intent filed by James Paterno. The applicant wishes to construct a single-family dwelling and associated utilities at Locke Road. Work will take place within 100 feet of the wetlands. Chris Garahan, Vice Chair, Chelmsford Conservation Commission. Is the applicant here?
Yes, I'm here. This is Maureen Harold from Norse Environmental Services, and I believe Mr. Paterno's here as well.
If you want to tell us what you want to do. I think all of us know the site. Is that correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay. You want to tell us what the plans are?
Sure. So we filed a notice of intent with the commission to construct a single-family dwelling, garage, deck, grading, and associated utilities within 100 feet of an intermittent stream bank, as well as a pond. So this lot was originally a part of 3 Locke Road, and it's going to be split off. And the closest proposed work is 88 feet from one of the bank flags. And I can bring in the plan if you'd like to see it. Oh, Katie's got it. Oh,
I'm trying.
okay, let me see.
It's not working.
Okay, I got it right here.
Okay, there we go.
All right, let me zoom this in. Move you guys over. So, you know, the majority of this site is actually lawn area. The swale that goes down the westerly property line is very well defined. The bank is well defined. We're proposing erosion controls along the 30-foot buffer setback. And the site will be serviced by town sewer and town water. And I can open it up to the commission if you have any questions.
Okay. Is any work going to be done in the stream?
No,
You're not going to clean it up or anything?
no,
How about the farmer's pond at the back?
no work.
No work whatsoever.
View most recent agenda. Brought me here.
I beg your pardon?
So the first one was.
That wasn't me.
Somebody's talking.
Oh, no.
But he's talking.
Could whoever's speaking mute their, unless you're participating in the hearing, could you mute your microphone until you want to speak, please?
I'm going through. I'll mute whoever's not muted.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Where would is there going to be a full foundation on this site? So you'll have material that you'll have to either take off site or store?
We are proposing some grading, so we are bringing some material in just to grade it out a bit. But certainly any stockpile material we can put outside the buffer zone. The buffer zone is highlighted in this yellow color here. So there's certainly areas that we can put it outside.
Yep. And as I recall, the elevation of the site's pretty flat, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Questions? Billy?
No, I'm fine with it, Dave.
Mark?
No, it's a simple site. No, I'm fine with it also.
Carl?
No comment.
Katie, do you have any comments on this?
Nope. Straight
John, you know where
forward.
you know where this site is on Locke Road, I would assume.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I take it Eddie still wants to move there, just as an aside. Good for him. Let the kids fight over it, right?
That's right.
Are there any comments or questions from the audience on this application? Hearing none. Katie's got an agent's report. They're pretty straightforward. She's recommending a standard order of conditions for this application. I'll entertain a motion to issue a standard order of conditions for Locke Road. Mark? Will somebody make the motion?
So moved. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Mark moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All in favor?
We have to do a roll call?
Yeah, Billy?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Carl?
Recuse.
You're in a butter, correct?
Yep.
John?
I think it looks like a pretty good plan.
Okay, and Dave McLaughlin is a yes.
I'm a yes too, by the way.
Oh, I forgot you because you never here.
I'm never here.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Mr. Tamula.
He tries.
So there's a unanimous approval of this? Good, very good. So that takes care of that one.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay. Let the kids fight over it, right? Next item on the agenda is 24 Fenwick, and let me read this one. Under the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Laws 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 187, the Chelmsford Conservation Commission will conduct a remote public meeting on July 7th, 2020 at 7 p.m. for a notice of intent filed by Peter Spahn. The applicant wishes to construct a garage and 3 home additions at 24 Fenwick Road. Work will take place within 100 feet of the wetland. Chris Garahan, Vice Chair, Chelmsford Conservation Commission. Is the applicant here?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to review with us? We have a plan. If you would just take us through what you intend to do, please.
Yes, Pat Flaherty, are you on board on the call?
I'm here somewhere. I don't see my face there.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah. So, Pat, this is Peter. I'm happy to answer questions and respond. We thought that Pat would take the lead to describe the survey and plot plan that he put together for me.
Okay, Pat, do you want to do that then?
Yes, I will. Now that I see my smiling face, I can do that.
Did you ever think your career would come to Zoom?
Oh yeah, I predicted this 50 years ago. Yeah. This is incredible, but it's really handy. I enjoy it. This lot is on Fenwick Drive, which is off of Boston Road, and it's an older subdivision with smaller lots. This happens to be one of the bigger lots, but even so, it's just 34,000 square feet. So I think it's exempt from a lot of rules and regulations, but not from wetlands. Mr. Swan and his wife want to put a nice garage toward the front, and right now they have a driveway that comes off of Fenwick and goes down right where the proposed driveway is, and there's a garage under the house. So this will enable them to have a bigger garage, and they'd also like to put an extension, a couple of extensions on the back of the house to give themselves more living room. This property is in the second 100 feet of the Rivers Protection Act, but it is mostly developed anyway. And the house itself is between the 50 and 100 foot buffer for wetlands protection. As you look at the house from the street, the proposal is to make a little wider driveway, to eliminate some of the existing driveway in the back, some of the impervious. They would like to put some Caltech chambers in the front to take care of increase in impervious and runoff, and also a rain garden toward the back for areas that we can't, parts of the impervious that we can't handle up front. The addition toward the middle of the house in the rear is going to be up on what we call sonotubes years ago, and so water will be able to flow into that. Mr. Swan and his wife are people that we like because they like to maintain the existing view. They like to maintain the existing vegetation there, and they have they've maintained it very well with native species. So they're to be commended for that. There really are no new utilities to put in. Sewer, water, gas is fine the way it is. So if you have any questions, you could let me know, and I can see what you have to say.
So, Pat, this is Dave. The wetlands are in the back and on the right of the property?
Yes, the wetlands start in the back, and they actually extend off to the right. So he's got a double problem there with the wetlands.
But all of the additions are outside of the 50-foot buffer, as I see this, correct?
Yeah, they're all outside the 50.
Is there going to be foundations under the garage and one of the additions or not?
There'll be foundations under them, yes. Yeah.
And will you bring in material or will you take material away? Or will you use it on site?
Well, I'm anticipating that the foundation fill will have to be removed from site. And there's not going to be too much regrading, but a little bit. So.
Where would you store the construction equipment and the building material on the site?
Can you say that again, Dave? I missed it.
Where would you store the building material and the construction equipment on site?
Right by Fenwick Road and the front of the lot, I put a
yeah.
I put an area there, and that's outside the 100, so that should be satisfactory. And we've started the silt fence there also to try and protect the neighbor's property from any spillover.
Okay, questions? Billy Vines.
I'm fine with it, Dave.
Chris Tamula.
I am fine as well.
Mark?
I think that's fine. Yeah, Pat, on the southern side of the property where it says deck, that's existing?
Yeah, there's a sort of a 2-level deck there. There's a deck, and then there's some stairs down to a sort of an observation deck where you can look out at the marsh and you can look out at the wildlife there.
Okay, so if it is, it's already been disturbed, so it's not a problem anymore. The addition, I guess the next one towards the middle of the house is going to be on sonotubes, you said. That's going to be in dug probably, so.
It might be a little tricky to get to do the construction there, but it looks like it can be done.
Sure. Okay. No, I'm good with it, Pat.
Yeah.
Carl?
Looks good to me.
John?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Katie, anything other than what you have in your agent's report?
It just needs a DEP file number still, so we can do whatever we're going to do as far as approving it, but I won't be able to issue it to the applicant until I get that file number.
And Pat, you'll get that, right?
Yes. Everything has been kind of slow lately coming through, but we'll get that.
They have nothing else to do in there. Okay. Are there any comments or questions from the audience on 24 Fenwick? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to issue a standard order of conditions for 24 Fenwick with no special conditions.
Move, Dave.
Moved by Billy Vines, seconded
Second.
by Carl. All in favor? Billy?
Aye.
Mark Gibbs?
Aye.
Chris Tamula?
Aye.
Carl Bischoff?
Aye.
John Svensson?
Aye.
Dave McLaughlin? Aye. Approved. Very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
I know you will. Katie, next item is a certificate of compliance for 176 Mill Road. Where is that? Where's 176 Mill Road?
This is actually Pat too. This is Susan Hagel, right, Pat?
Say that again to Katie.
This is Susan Hagel.
Yes, this is Susan Hagel.
Property, 176 Mill Road. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah.
She did the 2 additions.
She did an addition on the side. Yeah.
Whereabouts on Mill Road is it?
Oh, it's quite a ways down. You know where the water tower is up on,
Yeah.
it's around that area.
How old is the
Downhill.
project, Katie? Katie,
When was this project? Over a year.
Yeah,
It was over a year ago.
It was over a year. We were just waiting for the vegetation to get established.
Katie, do you have any reason not to issue this?
No, the site's stable. It's all established at this
Are there
point.
any questions from the commission?
None here.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 176 Mill Road. Mark, you move?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Billy?
Aye.
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Carl?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Dave McLaughlin, aye. Approved. Very good.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is an update on the shenanigans on Willis Drive.
Hold on. Hey, Dave, we missed the
What did we miss? Oh,
COC for the riverbank.
I'm
The
sorry. Let's go
riverbank.
back. Yeah, we also
That's okay.
on the agenda is a request for a certificate of compliance for the Merrimack Bank, and that doesn't mean a money bank. That means the bank of the Merrimack River stabilization up in North Chelmsford by the condos. It's been 2 years now, 3 years, 2 years.
Going on 3 years. Yeah.
Billy,
Yeah.
you've checked that out regularly, right?
Yes. Yeah, it looks good.
It looks
They did
really
a
good. I
nice
was out
job.
there today.
Good.
Yeah.
Is it going to work?
Yeah.
I think so.
It looks like it's.
Good. Okay.
Does the association have anything in place? As we asked them?
Yep. They. I actually talked to the president of Williamsburg too. They were just doing their annual invasive management, trying to remove all the invasives from around the new plantings, which is
Good.
part of their O&M. So they
Good.
are currently upholding the O&M.
Nice.
So I'm pleased with it. I was out there today. Looks
Yeah.
good.
Let's hope they continue it and you hear from them once a year. The trouble is, these are
Right.
the things that the legs fall off. Anyhow, is there any reason not to issue it,
Yeah.
Katie? Is there any reason not
Nope,
to?
but we'll be issuing a COC with.
Okay.
It'll be a COC with ongoing conditions, which
Yeah, right.
will be the O&M
'Cause
in
there's-
perpetuity.
Right, because
So,
there's many. Any comments from the audience on this Merrimack Riverbank? I'll entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for the Merrimack River Bank Stabilization Project.
Move.
Moved by Billy Vines. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Carl. Any discussion? All in favor? Billy?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Carl?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Dave McLaughlin is an aye, so that passes. Next item is Willis is discussion on. We've got some inquiries from some residents on Willis Drive. Katie, you want to brief us on that, please?
Yeah, so I got the call from our usual resident, Darlene Farrell, that the markers that we put up are down now. That's the boundary markers, and the guy who stores his dock on the beach there, which kind of doesn't make sense, but I think we were okay with it, is kind of telling people that they can't be near his dock, even though it's potentially on conservation land. So I need to have engineering go out and define the boundaries again and see if that guy's dock is on our land, and if it is, he has no right to tell people they can't fish from the area surrounding
This
his
is
dock.
the same guy that did it before, right?
Yeah, the guy who
Have they torn down the?
The guy who stores his dock for the winter.
Yeah. Have they torn down the rules and regulations as well as the little signs? Do you know?
No, I think those are still up, but they took down the boundary markers because I think they're trying to call some part of it their land when it's really
I don't
conservation.
I don't recall us putting boundary markers there. That's a good idea if we did. Okay, so
I think we did. I don't know who did it though.
John Swenson, just to brief you, around Freeman Lake, there's a lot of land that's small pieces that over the years has ended up belonging to the town and the Conservation Commission. A lot of people who live on the outside of Willis Drive, away from Freeman Lake, a number of them rather, often think that the land on the lake is an extension of their land and treat it as private property. So over the years, we've had some issues with reminding people that it's public land and it gives residents generally an access to Freeman Lake, which they otherwise would not have if in fact it was private property. So we have to keep reminding them, and there are a couple of residents up there who like to pull people's chains. So that's what's happening here.
I understand.
So we'll get some sign. We got plenty of those round signs if we need them, right? Would you use what we were using as boundary markers, Katie? You know?
I think it was just the round one.
Okay, because we have
that say Conservation Commission boundary.
Yeah, I recall putting those on trees, but not on the boundary. But that's okay. We can use them as boundary markers. So let's do that once engineering takes a look at it.
Okay.
Is it just that one property owner that's got his dock?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That was the biggest complaint.
Any comments or questions from the commission?
Nope.
Okay, next item is a beaver issue at the lime quarry, which none of us is aware of.
Oh, that's not the right one. Hold on. Let me get the right picture up here. Oh, there we go. This one. Come on. Okay. Might be a little tough to see, but
no, we're seeing,
so you have an email chain in your
Katie, we're seeing your file folder.
Oh, hold on. Hold on.
You'll get it one of these days.
All right, ass.
Stop smoking, Gibbs.
Didn't say anything. I know better.
Still nothing?
Nope.
All right. That's unfortunate. I'll try one more thing and then I'll have to explain.
Nope.
Can't just click on that line?
Okay, this should work. Last ditch effort. What do you see now?
Yes.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Can you move around on it a little bit?
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you have an email chain.
Yeah, show everyone where the
in your packet.
Where the lime quarry is, Katie.
These properties right here and here are lime quarry.
Yeah, so the lime
These
quarry.
two are private residents.
The lime quarry surrounds the private residences, two of them on Littleton Road.
Correct. So the property owner at 143, right here, has been dealing with the Board of Health and most recently me. I have the email chain in your packet. she is complaining of stagnant water here, which is causing a huge mosquito issue in her property because the dam is somewhere in here. Scott Ludwig from engineering did determine it's half on our property and half on 141's property. So what they've been doing.
I take it the stream flows from left to right?
Yep.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
So there's a huge deep pool up here and there's virtually no water coming through here. So the DPW has already cut a V in the dam like 3 times at this point, and they rebuild it in a night naturally. I had already asked Steve if he can do a 100% breach on the dam, but he cannot get the equipment back there to breach the dam. It's a huge dam, I guess. And health is looking for guidance from us whether we want to go ahead and direct them to trap the beavers or maybe put a pipe like a beaver deceiver. But this homeowner is getting really, really anxious about it because the stream is virtually gone and she's having a huge mosquito issue.
Is there any flooding? Is there any flooding on her property because of the dam?
No, it's pooling, but it's not damaging her property, but it's pooling and causing like a mosquito breeding ground. So the Board of Health, one member in the Board of Health told me it's not a health hazard because it's not water getting into her house. And another person told me that it is because of the mosquito-borne illness. So they kind of left it out. If the commission says go ahead and trap, they'll issue the trapping permits because that's what they do. And also, if we want to direct the DPW to keep breaching it periodically, obviously once the beavers are trapped, they need to breach the dam. But we can also have the DPW put in a pipe. The only problem is it's half private property and half our property. So if this property owner doesn't give us permission.
Over the years, we haven't had good results with beaver baffles. They don't seem to work as well as they're supposed to. I mean, to me, the best way, if we can get in there, and Carl, I don't know if you and Cost know where this site is, do you?
Yeah, I've been very close to that. I don't picture the dam. I'm not sure where the dam would be, but the trail is not that close. You have to bushwhack to get in there from the Lime Quarry Dam, right. From the Lime Quarry Trail.
Trails are somewhere up in here.
Yeah, they're not that far, but they're up a little bit. Yeah.
So who would trap the beavers? The Board of Health?
There's a town trapper that the Board of Health works with.
We have a town trapper?
Jeez. Yeah, he's on the books for the town. Most towns do. Most towns do have one.
And what does this person do with the beaver once it's trapped?
They have to, by mass wildlife law, kill it. They get money for the pelt.
Well, and I don't know if I want to go that far yet. Could we get him to take him out to the cranberry barn?
Can't relocate. It's illegal.
How about up on Smith Street?
Get out of here.
We had a former chairman of the Conservation Commission who used to do that. No questions asked.
It's illegal.
So it's legal to kill them, but not to move them. That's pretty logical.
Yep. Well, they're considered a nuisance species.
And I take it the Middlesex County mosquito control people or whatever haven't sprayed there?
Well, they could, but it won't do. I mean, if it keeps pooling, I don't know what it will do.
Any other comments from the board?
I guess I'm going to see if I can get out there and take a look at it. I'm curious if I can get there.
Well, Carl, if you want to, the homeowner at 143 will most definitely let you go out there, and I can go with you because I haven't seen it yet either. So if we want
Right.
to, I can contact her. She'll let us out.
Okay.
I mean,
So we don't have to go walking all through here.
So Katie, what's your preference as agent?
If we're not going to direct the Board of Health to trap, the problem won't go away. They can only cut a small V in it because they can't get large equipment to breach. It's a large structure. So they'll have to just keep cutting a V in it, but it's going to have to be done like every other day, which you know the DPW is not going to be thrilled about. And other than that, we can have the DPW, which will require permitting, pipe under the dam on our half of it. But that's really all we can do.
In favor of trapping.
There's 3 options.
When did this start?
Oh, this started probably 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now.
Katie, how's the DPW getting access to it with equipment?
They're not. They're using a chainsaw and cutting just a V.
Oh, okay.
And they're using her property or these people's property.
Okay,
they're not going through the lime quarry.
Carl said he would bushwhack his way in and give us a report. Can we wait until our next meeting? You tried it. What's the sense of the board as to how to address this? I heard Mark say we should trap the beaver or beavers. Any other thoughts? I'm only in favor of trapping as a last resort.
Well, if we can't relocate them, as your thoughts were, what else can you do?
And even trapping them, even with trapping them, more beavers will just, eventually
Correct. That's right.
probably come in, but it'll be a problem for a while.
What I'm a little confused. What was the original complaint? It was that it was drying up and they've got mosquitoes?
So down here, this is just a trickle now, and this woman here has pretty much like a mucky, stagnant swamp now.
Okay. Instead
of the flowing brook. So the Board of Health confirmed she's got a pretty good mosquito issue. And, with Triple E and everything, she's highly concerned and she's looking for a quick fix here. But as everybody knows, anything with beavers is never quick.
No.
It's pretty tricky.
Okay. Okay.
Does anyone know how many beavers are out there?
No.
She hasn't counted the population.
One beaver can rebuild in a night. So.
Yeah, but I'm assuming there's more than one.
Most likely.
Yeah. Well, it is Beaver Brook after all.
No, that's not the other side. All right, so can we wait for a couple of weeks to see if Carl can do a survey?
I'm not sure what I'm looking for.
Well, I don't. What would the survey?
I'm okay with that.
The survey would just confirm what the homeowner's telling us or disagree with, right? You're not going to come up with a solution.
Well, DPW has already been out there. They've already cut it 3 times, so they know that it's not going away, and they know they can't do 100% breach, which is what I would suggest.
Historically, the Conservation Commission has not got involved in beaver problems, and I don't know why someone thinks we should be involved. I'm kind of kicking the problem down the street. I understand, but historically, the Board of Health has said it's a health problem. And they're unwilling to say this is a health problem, huh?
Yeah, and technically they don't need our permission.
Right.
To trap. They were looking for that kind of guidance, but why
don't we tell the Board of Health
we can say you guys trap.
Yeah, they can go on our property and take care of the problem. We'll give them permission to go on our property.
If you want me to go back with that message, then yeah. If you want me to tell them they have permission to trapped from our property, then that's what I can do.
That's what we've done historically. What do you think?
And then,
what is the commission's preference?
I agree with that. Give them permission to go on and they can do whatever they think is necessary.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Anyone disagree with that? Okay, good. And while we're talking to Board of Health, you can tell them to look at Mr. Murray's property. Hey, John, where do you live? John
Mill Road.
I'm sorry?
Mill Road?
Oh, okay, you're on the other side. There's a property right on Mill Pond on Boston Road that's got a lot of trash on it. I didn't know how close you were to that. Jim Murray's property?
I'm very familiar with it.
Have you seen how bad is it for trash? We've had a couple of complaints.
You just have to look.
Okay. Okay, so when we give
right now I'm a neighbor.
That's right. You've got a house on the other side, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. When we give the Board of Health permission to trap the beavers, why don't we mention to them to please take a look at Mr. Murray's property? Our only concern, John, is that, I mean, we don't have jurisdiction over trash, but some of the stuff may be right on the edge of Mill Pond, and I have no idea what it's doing to the pond. So that's all. All right. Update on land management, Cranberry Bog funding of 25 grand. I'm sorry, Katie?
Cushing Place?
Oh, okay. It's not on my agenda, but go ahead.
Oh, yep, that's right. I added it because I remembered, Mark,
Why don't you give
we
us
needed to talk about it. So let me see if I can pull that one up.
Okay.
Not working, right?
Not yet.
Hold on.
Do whatever you did before.
I'm trying. This thing is so frustrating. All right. Now, yes?
Coming.
There we go.
Very nice.
You see a plan?
Yep.
Okay. I'll try to zoom in to my blue circle. Okay.
Where is this?
This is 11 Cushion Place. We talked about it a little bit at the last meeting, and Mark and I were out there, and we had some concerns about this is so slow tonight, about the way the brook was cut, the edge of the brook was cut right here for the new drain pipe that was put in from the condos in the center of town. And it is confirmed that it is shown as riprap on the approved plans, the way it's shown out on site. So the commission did approve what's on site today. So these are the official approved plans, and I kind of circled this is the riprap apron. It kind of fans out instead of just being like a straight cut along the brook. So we did approve it, and I don't know where the commission wants to go from there.
Did you say anything to Katie Enright? Or you didn't have a chance to, or didn't want to say anything to her?
Yeah, she sent me this
Oh.
plan because I can't scan my large plans into PDF.
Okay.
So she had them still.
I'd like to see it. I know what we approved. Well, I didn't know what we approved, but we did approve it. Would anybody else like to see it as put back to what it was before, prior to the construction there? Is that important to anybody else besides me?
Well, I mean, it is, riprap is there to slow down the water, and it looks like there is a drain pipe coming out from the Storm Scepter #2 model 900, and then going towards that. So if you remove the riprap, you're going to cause erosion, and the stream will actually, get in worse condition. And I mean, if we approved it with the riprap, how can we go against what we approved?
I agree. I would just thought maybe be some goodwill that you'd like to address it as more aesthetically pleasing than what it looks like.
I think it's important to maintain flood control, if that's the right term. We've had one severe flood in the center of town in the last 50 years. And if you speed up the flow of water through Beaver Brook, it might aggravate any flood potential.
This wasn't the only issue that I had with Katie when we walked out there. None of the invasives were addressed out there, as we talked about, and I think Jay had agreed upon. At least he shook his head and said, okay, okay. And there was a few trees that were in there. Don't know if they can be removed or not, but the invasives are up and down, mostly on that side, not the across the brook towards the parking lot side. But this all along here was quite a bit of invasives. I like to see that cleaned out. It was supposed to be cleaned out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, that was definitely one of the things that we talked about when we did the site walk is.
Katie, do you know when the next condo comes before it?
I'm sorry?
You know when the his next condo down by the Santander Bank, do you know when that comes before?
Is that Oddfellows?
Yeah, Oddfellows and yeah.
Yeah, that's the 21st, the next meeting of this month.
So we'll have some leverage with them then, Mark.
Yeah, I didn't want to use that as a tactic, but it would have to be. I mean,
at least we'll have them on the screen.
I want to see it done. If we got to use that leverage, fine. Did Katie address that when you spoke to her, Katie? Or just a riprap?
Just the riprap. I don't think she was part of the invasives because Jay met us out there separately. I think you were on that walk, right, Mark?
Yes, yes. But it's been long standing how it was going to be addressed prior to that on-site meeting. We spoke about it a lot.
Hey, the way we're going to get it addressed is to make it an action item for Katie Enright. Because she's be talking to Finnegan every single day, right?
You would think, yeah.
I think that's what we should do. Hey, I don't have that plan in front of me on my Zoom. I just have the picture of all of the conservation members. Is there anything, you put a plan up, right, Katie? I lost it. Does everyone else see
You don't see the plan?
No.
I still see it.
Yeah, all my screen says is Zoom, and then it's got your pictures on the right-hand side.
Yeah, Dave, look on the bottom and look for your Zoom icon and click on that.
I have no Zoom icon. I've got a question mark. No, that's probably a chat. No, that's the
all
chat.
the way to your all your application icons.
I have no application icons on my screen.
Hit escape. Hit escape. Hit escape. Escape, and then try.
No. That's all right. I don't need it. I think I know what we're talking about. All right. Next item. So let's make sure we bring it up when. Now I lost all of the commission members' pictures. I just have a Zoom. All I do is maybe I should.
I stopped screen sharing.
Why don't I get off the whole thing and come back in?
All right. We'll wait for you. I hear a cat.
Is that a cat or is that a kid?
No. Not a cat.
Okay, almost set. Next, I just lost.
Okay.
No, here you are. Why can't I get you? There, no.
Oh, you're sharing now, Dave.
Yeah, I know it.
Now you're sharing.
You don't want to show.
Sharing.
There we go. Okay. Next item on the agenda is There is a parcel of land, another parcel of land being offered to the Conservation Commission on Littleton Road. Katie, you want to take them through it? I think we all know where it is and what it is.
All right, tell me if you can see this or you see my library.
I see your library.
Library.
Ah.
Now I see Carl.
Okay.
That's even worse.
Thanks, Dave.
That is not it either. Good Lord. Now, not working. Hold on.
Just see you.
You don't want to see me. Library or plan?
Library.
Good Lord. All right. Ready?
Now you're going to
Eighth
get.
time the charm. Plan? Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Everybody sees the plan. Okay. All right. So this property outlined in blue right here is that 4-acre piece of property on Littleton Road that's always for sale because it's always not developable. Never will be, never can be, but somebody got suckered into buying it and they've been trying to sell it for years now. I think since Darren was the agent. It is everything you can possibly think of. Flood zone, riverfront, wetland, every buffer zone. And now it's up for sale. And Paul has asked us if the commission would be interested. We do own these parcels in green, and this one says Town of Chelmsford, but it's not specified if it's us. I think it's selectmen. As far as connectivity, it makes sense, but I don't think we should buy it. I think the owner would benefit from just donating it, but we don't want to buy it. We're going to buy problems with it, I think, because it's going to need maintenance and there's always litter in it and we'll have to be cleaning it up. So if the owner wants to donate it, fine, but I don't think we want to buy it. I don't know. What does the commission feel?
Billy, you'll remember these guys. Every 5 years, somebody comes before us wanting to put houses on it.
Right, right.
And we've never approved it.
No, it's impossible to get anything on it.
Right. In fact,
I don't want to buy it either.
No, I think Katie's recommendation is the right one. Tell them we're not interested and have somebody quietly suggest he donate it to the Conservation Commission and get a tax deduction. Now, what's interesting, guys, and many of you probably don't realize this, but the green space at the top, that's what we all think of as the cranberry bog. Across the street, all the way up to the Bruce Freeman bike trail is Town of Chelmsford / conservation land. So when we talk about...
You mean lime quarry? Lime quarry.
Lime quarry. So when we talk about the lime quarry, we ought to talk about all of the property. We ought to get this Board of Selectmen to make this red section conservation land. And then that would be, and that whole piece is Beaver Brook. That would make a lot of sense. So does anyone have any thoughts about buying this?
Yeah, we don't want it. It's going to be stagnant. That's where the Beaver Dam is right there.
Yeah, right. There's where the Beaver Dam is. I don't know.
So this will all be stagnant water. We don't want it.
Katie, who owns this section across Littleton Road called Beaver Brook, up to the right?
I think that's Land Trust.
All right.
The Land Trust owns some property in there.
Unless anybody has any other thoughts, we ought to direct Katie to tell Paul the Conservation Commission doesn't want to purchase it. And we recommend it. I suppose we can recommend that it be contributed to the town for a deduction. Is that okay?
Okay with me.
Okay, good.
Up to tax base, the only thing we're gonna lose with it, right?
No, it's assessed value, Mark, is about $24,000.
Oh, okay,
So it's not a lot of tax revenue.
right.
That shows you it's not
He's
building.
trying to sell it for $1 million.
Is he? Maybe.
It's been for sale for $1 million.
Yeah, the last
million
time
before.
it was an Indian gentleman who lived down in Georgia, I think. Next item on the agenda is we got to approve some minutes we got 4 sets of minutes to approve. I don't know if I sent them around. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at them. If you've got any comments, if you want to give them to us, if you want to send them to us. Does anybody have any significant changes to make in those 4 sets of minutes?
No, I looked at them. I didn't see any problem.
Nope.
I think Chris seconded a whole lot more things than he was given credit for, but
Chris Garahan or Chris Tamula?
Tamula.
Well, he
I'm
was
joking.
probably thinking about something else. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of February 18th, 2020, January 7th, rather, of 2020, December 17th of 2019, and December 3rd of 2019.
So moved.
Moved by Carl, seconded.
Second.
All those in favor, Billy,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Carl,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
and I guess John abstains. He wasn't at those meetings. Fine.
Right.
Okay. Katie, you got anything to report to us?
Nope.
How many, you need signatures on stuff, and do you know whose signatures you need? You need Gibbs?
I have yours, Dave, and Carl's. So I
Okay.
just need 2 more to issue permits.
I'll come in tomorrow, Katie. What time are you there?
And I will put all the new stuff out. I'll have everything out by noon tomorrow.
Okay. I'll stop by.
If she's not there, there's a table out there in the hallway, and she can put them in a folder right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop by tomorrow.
All right. Do we want to have a meeting
Bill.
on July 21st, Katie? Or can we wait till August 4th?
Yeah. No, we have 2 notice of intent for July 21st. So we do
Okay.
have to have a meeting.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I spot talking.
Welcome to John.
I'm
Water
sorry.
Department, Bob
What?
Delaney.
I'm sorry, Mark?
I was talking to Bob Delaney this evening,
Oh, okay.
and they have great interest in the Misty Meadows. Because they assume there's a ton of water in there they can get to, and they can put a treatment plant on the property too. So they're not really interested in Warren, but they are definitely interested in Misty Meadows.
Okay, so they would, Mark was mentioning this to me. I don't understand. I thought the Center Water District was a private corporation and not part of the town. And
They are. They're a private entity.
And if that's the case, then the Hennessy's are offering Misty Meadows to the town.
They have to first.
Right. And if the town is not interested, then the water department would bid against any other private entity for the parcel.
Correct.
And the only potential problem with that happening is Mr. Doyle has an agreement that says whoever his buyer is now would give 26 acres to the Conservation Commission. There is no such agreement like that with any other entity. So there's, on the other hand, so we would lose it, I think. On the other hand, the water department has no reason. I mean, it would be open space and it would be conservation land, even though they operate on it, because they're effectively operating below the ground, not above the ground.
Right, we wouldn't have control of it, but it would have the same function it has
Yeah.
Benefits. We get the same benefits.
Correct.
Well, except we probably couldn't walk on it.
Well, we weren't going to anyway.
Well, no, but we're going to have a wildlife refuge to the right-hand side of Misty Meadow Park or whatever, Misty Meadow Road. But we'll see.
How would,
It's
Dave,
really
how would that affect Mark Stott and the agreements he had?
That's a very interesting question, Billy. I have no idea. And since
Maybe Mark needs to be brought up to date on this.
well, he could be, but I don't know what you'd tell him other than we hear that the Center Water District is interested, according to the town manager.
It's talk now at the.
They were interested in the Cranberry Bog too.
No,
Yeah.
not at Bonds Terrace. That's not true. They gave that up, didn't they?
Who?
Water District.
They were interested. They were interested till they found out it can't draw enough water.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
But, I mean, right now there's two private properties in the middle of Misty Meadows that are landlocked. They both have an easement with Mr. Doyle to get out to, what's the street out there? Not Hunt.
Pine Hill.
Pine Hill.
They have easements to get out to Pine Hill. And Doyle was proposing to give Mark Stott an easement, a sewer easement, so he could hook up a sewer to Pine Hill. So I don't know what the status of that would be. And the deal was, the offer on the table with the private developer is what, 6 lots for $990,000 or something. A lot of money.
A lot of improvements to be made.
On top of that.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So
just let me bring it up, that's all.
We'll have to keep our ears open about this one, guys, just because we have somewhat of a vested interest. CPC has a meeting next July 15th, next week.
Wednesday.
I think they're going to discuss funds available for either Misty Meadows and or Warren.
It's going to executive session.
That's to discuss negotiations, right?
I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
But I guess the appraisals are both in.
Oh, good. I hope the CPC is not negotiating with the seller, with the buyer.
I don't believe so. I think it's just make a recommendation.
Even though Bob Morse thinks he's a great negotiator. Anything else to come before the commission?
Is that on the record?
I know it. No kidding.
Hey, Katie,
We're on TV.
Katie, yeah, I know it. How's Eric Merrill?
I have not heard anything other than he's in the hospital.
Yeah, that's what I heard from Vivian. I don't know any more than that. Does anybody know anything else? Okay, motion to adjourn was made by Mark Gibbs, seconded by who?
So moved.
All in favor, Billy Vines,
Aye.
Chris Tamula,
Aye.
Mark Gibbs,
Aye.
Carl Bischoff,
Aye.
John Svensson,
Aye.
Dave McLaughlin, aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you,
Thanks, folks.
Katie.
Night, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Aye.
Welcome aboard, John.